Hey guys, it's Marshall Tingle with your Superior Ag Insurance Ringside Report for this past week, the week of January 29th through February 4th. So the weather outside has been cold, it's been nasty, it's been muddy, it's been just all out gross. But I'm going to tell you what, as soon as you step into one of these sale barns, this market is just about as hot as it can be. No lack of heat, no sign of cold inside this thing. This market is booming. And it's not just on your feeders. Feeders are high. Yearlings pretty steady to up just a little bit, but even this cow market, I never talk about weigh cows, but this weigh cow market this past week has been astronomical. We're talking $1.20 weigh cows, $1.18 weigh cows, and a whole world of cows between $1 to $1.10. So I mean, this thing this past week is booming. There's some supply and demand going into the factors on these. A lot of people got green grass fever, trying to get started fitting out their spring and summer loads of cattle. But I'm telling you, this deal is hot, hot, hot. So let's talk about this. So your runs are lighter this past week. Sold about 10,722 head of cattle across your auction barns across the state of Kentucky this week. Now, if you compare that to last week, it's going to be down about 3,500. But look at how nasty your weather is. You can't hardly get a truck and tractor in out of the field. It's just gross. And then you compare that to a year ago, you're still down about 2,200 head, which isn't too bad, but still, runs are what I'd consider lower than average for right now. Now, this market is booming. These guys seem like they can't get enough of these little 4 and 5 weight cattle to go out on grass coming out for the spring and the summer. Some of it's supply and demand, but I'm telling you, this deal is hot. So your steer cattle, we're going to call them steady to $4 higher on your feeder steers. Some instances sharply higher, and when I mean sharply higher, I mean through the roof higher. You'll see here in a second. Now your heifers, they held pretty tight on their own. They're going to be back. We're going to call them steady to $2 higher. Some instances sharply higher. Now yearlings, kind of a light test on them. I mean, they're pretty consistent. Some sets are really high. Some are what I'd consider kind of average, but I will say you do look like you're seeing some buyer selectivity on those. And I think there's some influences going on in the Midwest that's kind of causing that. But still, yearlings are still trading pretty good. But let's talk about these 4-weight cattle. Now, if you're trying to put in some 4-weights to start some loads with, get ready. They're high. If you're wanting to sell some 4-weights right now, not telling you what to do, but this market is really, really strong. Check this out. So your 4-weight steer cattle, $1.65 to about $2.20. That's going to be your range. I'd say most of these are going to be about that $1.90 to say $2.05, $2.10 range. But check out what they topped off. $2.44 flat as your top selling 4-weight. That is rocking. That's been a long time since we've seen that. Now let's talk about your 5-weights. A lighter test on your 5-weights than we have seen on your 4-weights. But they're still holding their own. So 5-weights, $1.65 to $2.05. They topped off at $226.75. Now, I will say on these, from what I've seen, most of your 5-weights, you're looking at about $1.85 to that $2 mark. It's going to be your whole. But still, $2.26 is still rocking for a 5-weight steer right now. So that's kind of what's going on in your lightweight deal. If you're wanting to put them in, get ready because everybody else has got it on their mind too. Now, your yearlings, kind of a lighter test on your yearlings. We did have more 8-weights than we did last week. Last week, there wasn't hardly any. This week we do have some, but you are seeing some variances in a range on them that we haven't seen in the past. So here, start off with, here's this astronomical set of 8-weights. They're right on the CME Feeder Cattle Index, and they're rocking right along. So here's 61 head of these. These are all black steers. They call them fancy, and I'm sure they sure enough were. 858 pounds on the average, all black steers, $1.80.90. Now check on up here. Here's a mid set. These weren't labeled fancy. They're just called black. It's 58 head of these, $8.60. So just a hair heavier by about 2 pounds. All black steers, $1.74.50. That's getting in closer to what we saw in the range of things. But just kind of what's going on. Now you go up to your heavier weights. Here's another set of big fancy steers. Here's 61 of these. They called them fancy and all black. 899 pounds on the average. $1.7610. But I will say this as a disclaimer on there. There's a lot of these cattle, if they've got, if they're not what they call fancy, or if they've got just a hair of color to them, whether that be Charolais or just a sprinkling of red to them, they are going to knock you back a little bit. There's a lot of these cattle traded in that $1.60 to $1.66 range. In that 8-weight category. So if they're sure enough black and fancy, there is demand for them. If they've got some color to them, just kind of be prepared for a little bit of a discount on them or some more buyer selectivity, so to speak. But let's compare this to your CME Feeder Cattle Index. So start off the week, Monday the 30th, your CME Feeder Cattle Index was at 180.42. By the time Tuesday the 31st came around, you're looking at 180.37. By Wednesday, we started to go up just a little bit, 180.90. By Thursday, you jumped up quite a bit. Here's 181.45. And then by the time we closed out the week, Friday the 3rd, you're looking at 181.29. So that's what's going on in your CME Feeder Cattle Index. So some of these things, like I said, if they're showing up fancy and black, they're trading right there with the CME Feeder Cattle Index. If not, just they're kind of a little bit of a discount back, just a hair from what the CME is. Now, not bad if you consider your slide on everything, but still just back just a hair of what your CME feeder cattle index. So, like I said, right now these little lightweight cattle are high, and there's a lot of risk in turning out some of these lightweight cattle in the weather, and the market can change on a drop of a hat. We've all seen that happen. We saw it happen last year. It can happen at any time. So if you have any questions on the LRP policy, a livestock risk protection policy, feel free to reach out to us. Call Ian Thomas at Superior Ag Insurance. It's Ian Thomas, 859-613-2453, or check us out on the web, www.superioragins.com. Thank you so much. Look forward to